Hello, everyone. This is Yogi here. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. You pick one. And I can't wait for a spot of stitching today. What a day. So I hope you're well on this beautiful Saturday here. And so this is the piece I'm going to be working on today. And it's got a really romantic name. This is the Wedding Dress Store. And this is one of the sort of full coverage sort of projects, one of the first few that I bought without knowing what I was getting into. And let me just quickly show you the full markup here. Oh my God, this is a beautiful piece. Look at this. So you can see this beautiful wedding dress shop here, and with two mannequins here with beautiful dresses. And on the right, I would say is my favorite part of this piece. They've got this beautiful flower vendor here on the right. And this is so Parisian. This is so Paris. You've got this beautiful, really gorgeous posters of the ladies up there, and I can't wait to stitch this area. And in the horizon, you can probably see there's a tower silhouette there, that suspiciously looking like Eiffel Tower. And you know what? When this is probably the first time yesterday or a couple of sessions ago when I worked on the other piece, the stationery shop, that I noticed both of them have the tower in the horizon. Let me show you here. Can you see that at the back? And to be honest, I've got these two projects in my webs for years. I never noticed both of them have the Eiffel Tower in the back until I had to kind of stop and describe it for you guys. So I would say both of them are probably either fictional or factual view over Eiffel Tower, and is absolutely whimsical and romantic. So this is the piece I'm going to be working on today. And just to quickly show you another view. So this is a photo I took, not before this session, but the session before, of what I have finished, have completed before I put the fabric on the hoop. So you can see I've completed the sort of half upper body of one of the two mannequins in the shop there, and moving over to the right, and I have actually completed the tower at the back. I didn't even notice it, to be honest, until you zoom out and look at it. And now I'm moving toward the right. So I'm working one page at a time from left to right. And the one on the left is actually the center of the piece. So this is one of the projects I started from the center, and because it's the most juicy bits. So moving page by page, so it doesn't really matter. And so I have completed a little bit more than what you're seeing here. Let me switch back. So you can see I filled up a little bit more with the last session. And I'm going to continue to hopefully move a little bit forward with this page, which is it's the third page of the piece from the center to the right. And there's one more page on the right, and then I'll be reaching the right edge of the piece. So that's roughly where I am. And let me just show you my app here as well. So I'm using Pattern Keeper to keep track of my stitches. And this kit was originally a paper pattern. So I basically scan my paper pattern into Markup RXP. It's pretty powerful in terms of importing. And in terms of the entire piece right now, you can tell that I have completed 2 pages from the center. Let me just zoom out so you can see the entirety of where I am right now. So there's 3.5 rows a little bit in terms of page numbers, and I'm moving from the center toward the right, and then this is where I am. So it's large, it's pretty large as a piece, maybe not as big as a regular, or I would say probably slightly bigger than the regular, or at least it feels like so because it's 14 count. So so it's going to end up sort of a pretty good size finished product. So this is where I am, and so I'm going to pop my app back here and quickly have a look at the chat. Who have we got today? So Sarah, hello. Sarah says hello everyone, and Andrea, I'm doing my best. And she says hi to all. Heather is here as well. Hello, Heather. And Betty is here as well. And for Betty, it's afternoon over where she is. Happy stitching, she says. And Frankie as well. Welcome, Frankie. Welcome, everyone. And let me know what you're working on today. And, you know, it's been such a busy day. I actually went out for dinner with a couple of friends, and we had a really, really good chat. So we're starting a little bit later, which is just perfectly fine. Probably for some of you, particularly you're still in daytime. And I hope you're enjoying your Saturday and all is well. So in terms of the stitching method, I'm going to go for an easygoing cross country, mini cross country, and I'm going to just fill in, roughly follow the stitches from top to bottom and slowly fill up the area. And the floss I'm using, this is the floss, actually comes with the kit. So I have 4 kits from the same company, and all the floss, all the threads here, they're DMC compatible. So the color system is exactly the same, but the texture of the floss, of the threads are slightly different. I quite like it. It's very, very solid and robust. So this is what I'm going to be working with. And with that, I'm going to zoom in so you can see it nice and clear. And just so you know, I'm streaming on 4K. So if you're lucky enough to be at home watching this, then tune into the 4K mode so you can see everything nice and clear here. And if you're on your mobile data, it will consume your mobile data, just so you know. So maybe keep things the way it is. And let's go. I can't wait. You know, when I have a day that I haven't touched any project, haven't stitched, I start to fantasize the first stitch I'm going to make. And bear in mind, I'm warming up, guys. So if I'm about to make mistakes, that will be about now. So bear with me. And if you've been to the streams enough times, you probably know. Not just the beginning of the stream, I make mistakes anytime. This is a story I'm sticking to, okay? And Sarah says, I've been working on Monarch of the Glen all day. Wow, 575, my goodness. Sarah, thumbs up to you. 575 already. That's, for me, that's 2 days worth and a little bit more in terms of stitch count. And Rose is here as well. Hello. Hello, Rose. And I'm going to pick my first color here, flowing from top to bottom. And I know which one I'm going to go for. There you go. 3722. 3722 will be my first choice. And, you know, normally I don't have a lot of time to socialize, you know, in the evenings. If I'm not teaching, I tend to want to kind of just rest and stitch with you as well in the past couple of months. And I really like that routine. But it's nice to catch up with friends. 3722 here. And just chat about things. We communicate over messengers anyway, but it's nice to just meet up and they actually both came to my class today as well. So I always try to draw my friends to my class, to my classes, and I'm very lucky. I'm able to get friends in as guests, so they don't need to be members, and you know, just get them to do yoga once in a while. And some of them actually started to do more. They sign up with the local studios because they enjoy it so much. So, you know, one bit at a time. And let me move my London bus over there. I love this needle minder. It's been hidden, attached to one of the projects. I haven't, you know, kind of forgotten the needlepoint projects for months, and I totally forgot I had this needle minder, and I just found it a couple of days ago, and I've been wanting to use it every day. And this is my first color here. It's so pretty. And let me move it down a little bit. Andrea says, I'm giving love to Minnie Lafette Papillon by Kate Power. Oh, it's a butterfly themed design. That sounds very intriguing. Very intriguing. And Griety, hello. And she says, I worked today on a pre-printed project. Yes, pre-printed is one of those is sort of stamp patterns. I think that's what it's called. I'm yet to try it. They look fascinating. They have this random colors that represent symbols. I see them around on floss tube, just haven't tried it. And maybe I should look for a design I like and see how it goes. And generally, do they turn out as well as the mock-ups? That's kind of one of my worries, because most of them have really, really nice looking mock-ups, but they're printed more like illustration rather than the actual simulation of stitches. I always wonder whether they come out as nice as they look on mock-ups. So let me know if you have more experience on the stamped projects. And I think the texture of I don't know whether they call it fabric or canvas. They're thicker, aren't they? They're not fabric. I think they're heavily starched in order to maintain some structure to the surface. But let me know if it's nice to stitch. I'm very curious. I'm curious about all types of cross-stitching projects. I'd like to try them at least once and see if I like it before I decide, you know, whether it's my thing or not. Let me move that over there. Lisa is here. Hello, Lisa. And Lisa says, I'm crocheting today. Wow, we have the whole group of crafters, stitching, embroidery, knitters, and crocheters is that word. I love crocheting as well. I love it. What I love about crocheting is that you can make different shapes a lot easier than knitting, isn't it? It's almost like you can sculpt things with yarn, just using a hook. And I think it's very nice. Very nice. Really fun. Let me see, am I already making mistakes? I think I am. Let me double check here. Oh no, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. One here, one over here. Let me have a look. 1, 2, and 3. Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So, and Lisa says, I have friends coming over to watch football. Wow. I love football, but I hate having to people, quote unquote, when I just want to stitch. The struggle is real. That's so funny. So can I assume that you weren't the one that invited his friends to come over for football? If you actually really want to do is to crochet and just have some peace and quiet. I know I'm terrible with small talk. I always think if there's nothing to say, just stay silent. It's perfectly fine to just stay silent. So when you speak, it has more meaning to it. You know, you shouldn't feel obligated to say things. If you have nothing to say, just stay silent. There. And let me move it downwards. Oh, I'm loving it already. I can always feel it. And Heather is here. Heather says, I've done small stamp projects from Stitch. The fabric was softer than Dimensions kit fabric. Oh, is it softer? I just presume those, because I've seen people doing it and the fabric looks really stiff, almost like canvas. And she says it turned out true to the pattern. It's basically like they printed the design from Pattern Keeper. That's an interesting way of describing it. Because I'm always slightly worried. You know, if you spend so much time and energy and it turned out looking a little bit rough, you know, I'm going to be gutted. But it looks very interesting though. I'd like to try. Let me mark it properly so I don't get confused. And I have 4 cross-stitching kits like bought, maybe in the span of 2 years from Amazon, from the same company here. And the fabrics that come with the kits are different. This one somehow is softer. It's quite nice to stitch. Whereas the other ones, they're good to stitch as well, but they're more kind of starched. It's got more structure. That's probably not the word. It's more starch. And you know the surface when you feel like, you know, once you wash it, it will probably soften a little bit. But I quite like the texture of this one. It's a different stitching experience. Let me move it up there. There's a pink stitch here. Just make sure I'm in the right location. There are 2 stitches up here, I think. 2 stitches here. Hopefully I don't forget. Yes, 2 here. Let me see if we can zoom in a little bit more. Oh, we have 2 Heather here. So I'm going to have to introduce initial system. So earlier on it was Heather J, and now it's Heather H. And Heather H says, good afternoon, fellow stitchers. And Gritty says, it's fun to do, but my preference goes to regular pattern, gives me more challenge. Now I don't have crossed off on Pattern Keeper. Oh, yes. Well, I think the fun part for stamp sort of projects is the fact that you don't need to look at your Pattern Keeper, do you? You don't need to reference to your patterns, which might be a nice experience because, you know, you can just fly with the stitches, hopefully. or some might fly a little bit faster than me. But yeah, that might be interesting. Might be a different experience there. As long as the outcome is, you know, accurate or as beautiful as the markups, then all is good. I love different ways of stitching. It just keep everything fresh, isn't it? And let me know your drink of choice in this beautiful Saturday. I'm having a bit of leftover coffee as usual, and a cup of my favorite mint tea here. Freshly brewed. Let me have a sip before it gets too cold, which I don't mind either. Cold tea is just as good. And cold coffee, oh, delicious. Cold coffee is delicious. Hey, Janelle is here. Janelle is woken up from Australia. She says, good morning, everyone. Very lucky. She's actually in morning the next day. She's already on Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to Janelle. And it's quite surreal. And we're not that far off being Sunday, but it's midnight. So we're not quite morning Sunday yet. And is it oh, Jan is here, Jan Creation. And she says, happy stitching. And is this a paper chart? Yes, it is. It is a paper chart that I scanned into pattern, not Pattern Keeper, the markup IXP. So I basically did basically took photo scans using an app. You can do it with camera, just regular phone cameras as well. But if you have a good scan, you can import it into markup IXP. It does a pretty good job at recognizing the symbols and just turn them into little individual digital version of the pattern, and you can mark them off as usual. Having said that, it really depends on the patterns, because this pattern is a little bit tricky. It's got back stitches, so there are quite a few sort of black, really bold lines running through the pattern, so it prevents the app to recognize some of the symbols. So from time to time, I do have to sort of manually mark them, which is not too bad because I'm just stitching, moving forward bit by bit. And if I notice anything of certain symbols, certain stitches not getting picked up, then I just manually do that. But for me, it's still a lot better than, you know, having to work with paper pattern, which I'm never a sort of big fan of. I just feel like I'm going to lose everything, and I do. You know, I have lost a lot of paper charts, and it's just sense of security that, you know, pretty much whenever I can, if I have anything on paper, I take a, you know, try to take good photos of them and keep them safe there. So yes, this is a paper pattern being scanned in to markup IXP. And I love the fact that these ones, the 4 different kits I got, there's one more I haven't stitched live yet, so I'm looking forward to doing that with you. But it's lovely. They all have back stitches, which is, you know, an added element of fun to a project. I know some people don't like back stitches, but I enjoy it because when you apply those lines, everything pops out you know, it adds a lot of details, which I love. Oh, it's getting a little bit short, this one. I am going to make this stitch, hopefully still have some left over, then I can tuck it in nearby here. Heather J says, one challenge I had with stampies was not missing stitches because I saw color on the square and thought it was stitched. So some colors, because it really depends on the fabric count as well. I've seen them, some of them quite big and some of them quite small. I always wonder, what if they don't print the symbols accurately within the stitches? You can get very confusing. So hopefully they're doing a good job with that. And so some of them actually look like they're stitched already. I have the same problem with pre-gridded even weave. Do you not get that sometimes? You know, the gray line, the gray border that's supposed to guide you. A lot of times, particularly when I'm stitching a sort of pale color area, that I'll mistaken some of the gray background as stitched, particularly if you're working on like 25 counts. I do that a lot. So it's pros and cons when you have pre-gridded fabric there. Right, I'm moving on to the next color. Oh, this piece is so lovely. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Because moving down, let me show you the full markup if you join me a little bit later. You see, if you look to the right there, where there's a beautiful canopy, you know, like the stripy ones. That's where I am. That's slightly just below where I'm stitching here. So I'm really excited to move into that area. I love, you know, shops with those beautiful stripy canopies. It's just like, it looks so lovely, so whimsical. So this is just around here. Is happening, okay? It's happening in this live stream, maybe, hopefully. But you know the speed I'm stitching. You never know. You never know. And John asks, Jan Creations asks, Yogi, when you start new projects, do you leave 2 or 3 inches border? I leave 3, but sometimes felt it's too much. 2 to 3 inches. I normally use the fabric calculator there, and I tend to follow the guidance. I suspect it's more than that. Majority of the projects that I kitted up myself, I think I'm even adding maybe 5 inches. Let me just quickly look at that link. I'll share that link with you one more time. It's very handy. I use it for years, calculating my fabric. Haven't had problems. I think, how much margin is it adding? I tend to follow the website's guidance. Let me just quickly put in the chat here, so you can see. So this is the fabric calculator I use on a regular basis, and I think it's adding about 5 inches. It's good to have more than less. I know fabric's precious, but you know, it's easy for framing and stuff like that. The projects I haven't got a lot of margins, I always regret. So whenever I can, I rather have more than less, you know. And sometimes the edges might fray a little bit, just leaving the safe margin for that. That's what I like to do. So yes, the answer to you is, I think I'm leaving 4 to 5 inches. And Janelle is waving back. Yes, Heather H says I usually add 3 inches on each side. Yes, I think the judge of how much you need would be the type of frames you use on a regular basis. You just need simply enough of the space that you can comfortably frame your hoops, particularly if you start from the corners. Yeah, that would be a good, judge for how much margin you need. I think if if your project is fixed on the frame all the time, then perhaps, you can get away with a little bit less. 3A63, 3A63 here. We're working with these beautiful brown colors here. Yeah, everybody can chip in and share how much margin you typically leave the project. I think, everyone has their own kind of comfort zone. Probably learning from mistakes most of the time. I learn from mistakes. If I try to save the fabric, normally I regret it. Griety says, if you have a project with 2 centimeter, you can also sew a piece of fabric for framing. I've actually done that for one of the projects because I've got this project that I do it on the stream as well. It's the craft room. They're all craft room. I have a lot of craft room. It's the piece that is got dresses. If you look at the thumbnails, it's called, is it Quote Room? Yes, it's from Caro Marchetti. And I use a leftover piece of fabric. That's barely enough for the design to go in. And I was hoping I can get away with it, but framing turned out to be very difficult. So what I did was I actually sew clumsily a piece of cotton fabric I have tons of them, and on the edge, and just work with that. Absolutely, that's a very good tip for any reason. If you run out of margin and it's become painful for you to work with, just sew a hand sewing is probably best because it's very easy to undo, and as long as kind of strong enough. Just sew a piece of fabric, yeah, then you can extend it, no problem, and you can just remove it once it's completed. You can just remove it very easily, and you're good. Very good tip. Roxy says 2.5 to 3 inches. Yes. I think that's probably, sufficient. So it really depends on, sometimes when you buy a piece of fabric, some vendors have kind of predetermined ratio of the fabric. Sometimes you have more horizontally, sometimes you have more vertically, but whichever way, just make sure, if you can, leave enough margin. It's better to work with more fabric than less. That's what from my experience. You don't want to waste it, but, you just need sufficient amount. Yes, Jan, this chat is excellent. Everybody has their own secret tips to share. That's the beauty of it. And I love it when people ask questions because a lot of things, if you stitch for a little while, you kind of take it for granted and presume everybody knows. It's not true. I learned so much just doing these streams with you. I picked up so many tips. So many tips. It's unreal. And Grady says, I have one project with 2 centimeter free edge. Fabric cut incorrectly. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. You know that that project I have from Gecko Rouge, which Grady has ordered as well. Please let me know when it's arriving. I'll celebrate with you. That piece, when it arrived, I was so excited. I nearly dived in and start stitching, because what they do when they supply the fabric, they already make sure the edges are beautifully seamed. So you're ready to go, you know, the moment you get it. But I'm so glad. I'm so glad I measured it properly. So this is something to bear in mind when you buy a piece of fabric. When you receive it, definitely get the ruler out, measure it to make sure it's actually correct. When I received the Gecko Rouge kit, the fabric was so big, and you know, I could have just dived straight in and start stitching, and I'm glad I didn't. I measured it, and what I found was whoever cut the fabric missed out the margin on, I'm trying to think, the orientation is supposed to be horizontal landscape, but the margins for the sides were missing. The top and bottom was fine, but the sides were missing. Imagine if I just dived in and started to stitch straight away, and 10 years down the line, or 20 years, I don't know, and realize I'm running out of fabric. I don't know how I feel about it. You know, so definitely just to be on the safe side, when you buy a piece of fabric, or you know, if it comes as a packaged kit, then maybe you're probably okay. But if you buy a piece of fabric that comes in cut by someone, a human, then definitely check. It's better to be safe than sorry. And Gecko Rouge, they were being so good. I emailed them right away. I was a bit gutted that I couldn't start right away, because I was ready, you know. I've got my needles, I got my patterns, but I had to wait for the proper fabric to come. They were really, really good, and really apologetic about it. And they sent out an emergency fabric right away. And they let me keep the original piece of fabric, which was huge as it was. It was just the margins missing. They were really good. They didn't even ask. They didn't say, hey, send that piece of fabric back before I send it to you, you know, like Amazon. No, they just, you know, they didn't even mention it. They go, we're going to send out the correct one right away. Because I sent them a photo and with a tape measure attached, just to show them. I'm sure they wouldn't quibble, you know, and say, are you lying to us? But I just wanted to be accurate and show them that, you know, the margin was missing. So they were pretty good in terms of customer service when you deal with Gecko Rouge. It is, you know, their kits are expensive, but, you know, good service, very good service. And Carrie's here. Hello. Carrie says, hello, hello. Yogi, I haven't seen this one before. I know. I've only streamed this one once before. That was nearly 2 weeks ago. Can you believe it? And this is one of the 14 count cross-stitching kits I got in my earlier journey, the earlier stage of my journey into full coverage. I got a kit without even knowing what I was getting into. I just knew that it's more intricate and the fabric is covered with stitches everywhere. And I thought I'd just stitch it the normal way, because prior to that I was doing dimension type of kits, very little confetti at all, and very small pieces, or much smaller. And I had no idea. I had no idea. So yes, this is called Wedding Store, and I believe it's somewhere in Paris, overlooking the Eiffel Tower. Can you beat that? I don't think you can. It's beautiful. And John says, I love it when stitchers help each other. This is what we're doing here, really, because, you know, a lot of times when you watch a video, like any kind of instruction, it's not the same thing as watching someone stitching a real piece, real time, and also being able to chat with others, real time, ask questions and get real time answers. Everyone here is eager to help others, you know, and everyone here, doesn't matter, you just started stitching yesterday, everyone has something to offer, and it's good fun, you know. When it comes to cross stitching, it's so great to discover new ways, new tips from people, and for people to ask questions that everybody's wondering. As I said, sometimes you take for granted, you think everybody knows something. No, not really. Until someone asks a question, you realize that it's not that obvious. It's like the other day, someone asked, why do I have so many needles here? And I never thought about it. It's just a habit. I start a project, I put my needles here, and it's such a great question, because why do you need 200 needles to stitch one project? So I had to explain that, you know, because I dock my needles on my organizers here. So it's up to individuals. I dock them threaded a lot of times on my organizers in different ways. So I've got needles everywhere. So I run out of them, and I need to have a part here waiting for me. But it's just something I never thought about it. I never really, you know, try to explain until someone asks the question and you go, oh yeah, of course. That doesn't really make sense if you didn't know what's happening, right? So that's the beauty of this chat. And I'm here with you most days, almost every day for the last over a month now. Would you believe? I can't believe myself, but it's so much fun, and I want to come back every day to stitch with you. And I hope you enjoy it too. And Heather H says, I think if you're doing a project that might take several years, it's better to be on the safe side and add an inch extra or two extra. Absolutely. I'm totally agreeing with that policy. You know, the edges might get damaged for whatever reason, hopefully not, but you never know. And also, if you're starting at the point you miscalculate in any shape or form, that means you have a little bit more margin to work with. That could happen. And actually, come to think of it, it actually happened to this kid. Oh, I forgot to tell you the story of this kid. So this might be the first one I got out of the four, kind of 14 count cross-stitching kit from everybody. And I'll see if I can dig it out, because I just saw, this is the second attempt, okay, just so you know. I didn't buy the kit again because I've got, you know, the kit comes with a lot of flaws, so I didn't think I was going to run out. But this is actually a second attempt. Let me show you the first one. Let me show you the first one, if I can find it. I've got my little stash here. Oh my goodness, this could happen. So I'm very happy to show it to you, my first attempt. And also show you the one I actually stitched a piece of fabric on as well. We might as well do that, so you know this could happen. So are you ready? I didn't know I was going to do this, but when I found this, the last version of this piece, I was laughing my head off, because you know what happened? As we're talking about the fabric, this would be a good time to show you this example. So this was my first attempt of this piece, okay, the same identical piece, and this is what happened. So this is, if I show you the actual markup here, so you can see this slightly landscape, the width is higher, is a bit taller than the height, okay. So and what happened was, I had no experience stitching this project, this kind of project, and what I did was I stitched from the center, okay, which is what I was advised to do with most kids. And I started from the center. This is one of my first attempt of full coverage stitching. I really had no idea what I was doing. And you can see the back is all over the place. You know, there's floating stitches everywhere there because I just take my thread everywhere, which is not too bad. But what happened was I got the orientation of the fabric incorrectly. So what you're looking here is actually the lens way, where it's supposed to be this way. It's supposed to be like that. And I had no idea. And I kept stitching until I realized that, hang on a second, I think the width is actually a little bit narrower than the height. It shouldn't be like that. And that's when I called it a stop. That's when I realized, you know, a page a little bit more later, I realized I was stitching the wrong orientation. Instead of landscape, I'm stitching portrait. Okay, so it can happen. It can happen. So having some extra space sometimes maybe can save you from errors like this. Always check anyway. But because this piece, the length and the height is not drastically different. That's, you know, you can tell the width is, you know, longer than the height, but not as obvious as heaven and earth pieces. Hay pieces tend to be more landscape, so it's easier to spot if you're turning the wrong way. But this one, I absolutely didn't notice. So I'm glad I noticed that at some point, and then I was trying to decide what to do. And, you know, I didn't think I would need to buy another kit, but I managed to get hold of another piece of fabric and started again. Okay, so that's my journey, and that can happen. And also to show you what we're talking about stitching another piece of fabric on top of a piece if you're not. If you run out, haven't got enough margin. So this is an example. Some of you might have seen this piece. This is the quilt rim piece. And so what happened here was I used a leftover piece that's just about big enough. That's got some margin there. It's not too bad, but it turned out that it's really, really hard to work with. So what I did was, with my clumsy sewing skills here, I stitched another piece on top. And just give me some, you know, room when I frame it, particularly from the corner. It will get better as I move down, but, you know, the upper left corner is a little bit. So I have a little bit less here, but on the sideways seems to be okay. I think that's at least 3 inches. And so I just needed a little bit more room here. So just grab a piece of, you know, cotton or something, and maybe something not too stitchy, not too stretchy. You want to maintain some sort of tension, so cotton is really good. And you don't need to be a master sewer. I'm not. Just enough that you can extend the margin there. So there you go. So it could happen on real projects. So these things sometimes you learn in a hard way, and I'll always make sure to look and check again of the orientation of the fabric and whether, you know, I have sufficient space for margin when I frame, for me to frame and work with the fabric. So Creative says you sewed that well. Well, I managed to solve the margin problem, but with this one, I literally had to restart because otherwise I'll definitely run out of the fabric sideways. So just something to bear in mind. So here, let me see where I was. From here, I'm going to grab another piece of 3A63. And these things are so nuanced, you know. It's very hard to look up specific sort of tutorial or things like that, because how do you find tutorials of things that you don't even know could happen, right? So a lot of things you simply just run into it because you made the error yourself, or maybe someone share it with you and you go, oh, so that's something to bear in mind. And I think that's the beauty of you know, a chat like this. And also we've got a Facebook group as well. You're welcome to join. The link is in the description of this, you know, live stream. Underneath, you should be able to find it. And I'll maybe post it on the chats as well once I've done these couple of stitches. And I think I've done these ones and that one as well. I think there's one over there. And that one. Oh, I've done these ones already. So I'm going to pop my needle back. So with the Facebook, you see, you know, guys sharing their projects. And it's always really fun to see, and also helping each other solving, you know, find questions, offering solutions to things when we're not live. So it's a 24-hour support system for you. 3863. So I can maybe post the link there for you in the chat and pin it on top. If you haven't joined already, you're welcome to. So there. It's a few stitches here. 3860. And yesterday London finally rained, and rain it did. It was proper. It was pouring down. It's almost like it's been trying to rain for ages but couldn't, and finally it just burst into torrential rain. It's so crazy. But it's still quite humid and quite warm as well. The temperature hasn't dropped that much. So I've got 4 stitches of this color here. Three more. 1, 2. Sometimes it's really hard to spot the ones that are kind of buried amongst all the stitches. And particularly if the color isn't super bright. That one's done. Oh, there's one more there. Okay. And also this fabric's got slight blue tint as well, so it's not pure white. I think with this kit, for some reason, they, even though it's full coverage, the Ada that comes with the kit tend to have some light blue tint to it. And I'm going to end this one. There are a couple more stitches on this side, but I'm going to end it rather than taking the thread over. So that's kind of my kind of sort of extra effort I make to not to have floating thread at the back. I think some folks might not mind it. It's kind of just my thing. I don't like. I don't mind taking threads over on stitch area because it gets tucked in anyway, stitched down. But what I don't like is to take the threads over stitch area. That bothers me. So my little quirks there. So bear with me. I think that one. Trying to identify where I am. There's that one. For some reason, there's only one leg stitch there. How strange. I think I just did one leg and forgot the other. A strange situation there. Let me see. Let me check, double check. One over there. So that one's stitched. Yes, that's the one I'm trying to tackle. And 14 count is so satisfied to stitch because you're creating kind of larger stitch area very quickly. So sometimes with 25, if you're stitching and stitching 100 stitches, you're creating a tiny little square. You know, it's all good because that means your end product will be more in a higher definition. But sometimes you just want to kind of create fabric, so to speak. Kind of just want to, you just want big stitches. It's one more here. And I could take the remaining thread to the right as well. So again, I'm going to end the thread and take the same color thread to the right. There. This makes me a bit happier. And I've got a little bit left over thread here, so I'm going to move it to the right. A few more stitches on the right here. And Grady says, 25 count is my favorite count. A question, will the big project be nice at 28, 1/1? Good question. So that's probably a question to quite a lot of stitches up here. I'm yet to try 28 count. I'm going to do so on Saturday, next Saturday, when we start the Amy day, stitch together every Saturday. And I'm starting a new project. It's called Sweet Shops. Let me bring you the mock-up here if you haven't seen it. We decided on the fly. That's what we're going to do going forward on Saturdays. Let me just bring that back on. Let me show you the full glory. So this is what I'm going to start next Saturday. It's a brand new start. And I'm going to be stitching on 28 counts, but instead of 1/1, I'm going to do 2/1. Okay, so that would be my version. But I know quite a lot of stitchers up here. They've been working on 25 count, 28 counts 1/1, or 32 counts. I think some people do 32 counts. So it will be a question, really good question to throw up out there because I have not yet done so. But from what I've heard, it's good. 1/1, 28 counts. If you imagine 25 counts is pretty tight, you know, pretty good result already. 28 will probably give you even more delicate, you know, kind of tighter finish. I'm imagining, you know, that's what I imagine. But Let me see if someone on the chat can offer some wisdom there. 2 here, that's the one I want. I'm yet to work on anything that's higher than 25 counts. So. Oops, it's a wrong, it's a wrong markup. I'm stitching the wrong project there. This is the one. Hey, Brittany's here. Hello, Brittany. And Kerry says, my cliffhanger is 28. 2/1. Okay, so you 10 stitches, and I presume not full cross. That's one I'll be doing on Saturday, this coming Saturday. And she says, I love the coverage, haven't tried 1/1. I presume that probably from the appearance point of view, probably wouldn't be that different. Because the other day on the Gecko Rouge project, I literally switched from 1/1 on 25 counts to 2/1 10 stitch. If you look really closely, yes, you can see the shape of the stitches look different. But if you just look at it normally, they look almost identical. And if it's identical on 25 counts, I can imagine 28 counts would be even less, you know, sort of a difference there. I would think so. So it's remarkable how similar they look once stitched. I think if you look at loose stitches, you can tell that they're sort of different shapes. You can tell if it's 10 stitches. But once all the stitches come together, you can't. I can't, unless I zoom in really, really close, which we don't tend to do when we look at objects. So I think you're good. Hey, Daphne, hello. Daphne says, I watch your live but don't comment much. Oh, a lot of lurkers there, but finally you have today. Congratulations, well done. Daphne says, I love stitching on 28 1/1 full cross on most of my projects. I love the size they turn out. Yes, I think, you know, with this kind of design, yes, I think smaller stitches within reason will give you probably finer results, because these stitches are literally like pixels, aren't they? So the smaller pixels are just like 4K. The more stitches and smaller they are, the finer they come out. So it really depends on the effect you want. Like this one, I'm totally happy. I love that I'm able to see the crosses. That's part of the charm with 14 counts and larger sort of stitches. So it's a different kind of results that you produce. And they're all beautiful, I think. Kerry says tent, yes. Hey, River. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Cover all bases. Very important. Everybody's on a different time zone here. One there, done. Moving down. And I think these big stitches, you know, being able to see the actual cross makes samplers so much more charming, because some of them might be smaller stitches, but the fact that you can see the crosses, it makes the piece so pretty as well. So it's just a different kind of result you get. Rose says, sorry, I missed the question, but I stitch 1/1 on 28 counts and have used CXC. Oh, okay. And both CXC and DMC both provide good coverage, but CXC is fuller. Yes, CXC, if you are not familiar with 1, 2, 3, if you're not familiar with the thread, it's they have this identical color chart system as DMC, but the material I think is a blend of cotton and polyester. So but for some reason it come out very fluffy. 1, 2, I think I missed a stitch here. And so if you really want fuller coverage, particularly if you're doing 10 stitches, then CXC is a very good option. So it's a preference decision. Where am I? 1, 2, 3. I think I may have gone one off here. Let me just frog it because it's easy to do. Normally, if it's amongst other stitches, I might just leave it and stitch over them, but it's easy to frog. I'm going to frog it. So I missed one stitch there. Let me have a sip of my cold coffee here. Let me place it over there. 1. Okay, I know what my confusion was. I missed one stitch here. Betty says, I like CXC more on 28 count. River says it's 6. Oh, just past 6 p.m. over where River is. Just around the supper time then. No. We're on the right spot. And let me see if I can manage one more before I end the thread. Yeah. There. Oh, I'm really enjoying this. It's lovely. Oh, it's like coming home. Brittany says, I like the more delicate look, so I stitch on higher counts. I think Brittany does a lot of 32 counts. I've seen your photos, your pictures on our Facebook group. They look very tiny. And normally, so she says, normally I stitch on 32 counts, but I also do 1/2. 1/2 on 14 counts, so it makes it 20 counts. 1/2 full cross, 1/2 on even weave or linen. I know a lot of people do that on linen. They go they double the count and then they do 1/2 rather. That's quite pretty too. Now, next color, my next victim will be, I can't wait to come down here. Maybe I move a little bit that I can maybe start with a beautiful shop canopy. Ooh, nice. Yes, why not? And I'm going to start here. Let me pick my victim here. So 3721. 3721. So a few loose stitches here. 3721. Yes, I keep forgetting it's the season's opposite in Australia, so it's actually really cold. Janelle says it's cold in Australia this morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Does it snow over there, Janelle? Does it ever snow? I just can't imagine Australia snowing. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of snowy Australia. I've seen people on the beach in bikinis doing barbecues, you know. It's hard to imagine that some part of the world right now is actually cold. So there are a few loose stitches kind of dotted everywhere. So what I'm going to do is do one at a time. I know I could just take the thread. I might be able to actually. So this part isn't too bad. I might anchor the thread, do a pin stitch. I do that normally. If I want to take the thread away from the stitch area and go back to a different point, I sometimes do that. I think I might do that in this case. Take it away from the stitch area and do a pin. This is yogi move, okay? I'll give it a name myself. Because otherwise, if I take it straight over here, it's going to cross over a lot of stitch area, quite a large stitch area. I don't want to do that because the floating thread won't get stitched down. So what I do is I will bring it away, do a pin, and then bring it back. So it's called yogi maneuvering. So there, you can borrow it for free, okay? It's yours. And I am going to just come over and do another stitch. And this time is okay because it's mostly unstitched. So I'm good with that. The 2 stitches there, I can just fill in. Brittany says, no, I have 1 or 2 whips. Oh, okay. I thought it's 1 over 2. Okay, I misunderstood that. Oh, that's a totally different deal then. So 32 is not, I think Brittany is in some sort of extreme stitching sort of a challenge there to see how far she can go by stitching tiny little stitches. So she's doing 40 counts. Darling, I don't even know what a 40 count fabric looks like doing 1 over 1. You must show a few pictures on the Facebook because I can't get my head around. I'm nervous just going up to 28 counts, okay? And I don't even know if I'm going to go blind just yet. So 40, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Janelle says, I'm not stitching. It's too cold to get hands out of the blanket. Is it really that cold? My goodness. Your hands are too cold to stitch, everyone. Have compassion and empathy for Janelle. Can you stitch wearing gloves? I wonder. You know, you can wear those surgical gloves. Oh, but then again, they're not keeping your hands warm at all. Can you wear woolly gloves and then stitch? I wonder. 3721. I'm gonna take a sip of water as well. It's actually still quite warm here. And it actually feels a little bit humid as well, which makes it doubly hot. And let's have a look. Brittany says, I'm going to do 56 count next. That'll be the day. 56 count. Can you even get 56 count even weave? Is there such a thing? Or do you have to go for linen? I don't think, you know, when I'm buying fabric for even weaves, I don't even see that option there. I don't think that's possible, Brittany. I don't think such fabric actually exists, because it's probably banned by the some health and safety, you know, regulation imposed on fabrics. It's too small. People are going to go blind, so you cannot. You're banned from stitching 56. 355. Yeah. Kind of brick light color. Oh, Janelle is referring to the snow in Australia. She says, not in Queensland, but New South Wales. It does snow. Wow. I don't think I ever seen a single picture of Australia covered in snow. That is shocking. Yes, Brittany, I've seen the one of 40 count. It's harder to appreciate how small the stitches are on the photo because it's zoomed in, right? I think maybe you can do a comparison. 14 counts. Place a piece of 14 count, put it on the side, and then your 40 count projects. That would be quite clear how small those stitches are. One here. I'm trying to see what I'm going to do with this. I can take it down here. I should be okay. Take it over here. Just need to make sure that I'm actually stitching on the right spot, because there looks like there are quite a lot of stitches kind of scattering around rather than being together. So it makes it a little bit tricky, but I think it might be okay to take it up here. It's like a puzzle. Maybe move it over a little bit. Fingerless, yes, fingerless gloves, yes. Those are a must for people in the cold weather. The stitchers in the cold weather area. Yes, because yesterday's couple of people in the chat actually thinking about having eye implants to make them bionic, give them bionic sort of eyesight, so they can stitch smaller stitches, some sort of magnifying thing lens to get implanted in the eye so they can stitch smaller stitches. That's how far we go, just so we can stitch a little bit more. Extreme sport, cross-stitching, not for the faint-hearted. Two over here, got to remember to mark it, or I'll get very confused. River says, I bought some 40 count just to see one look. And I was like, yeah, no. I gave it to my stepdaughter. Very sensible, River, very sensible. There's no point going blind, you know. Yes. There's a limit to where we should go before we go blind. Because I've been sort of fiddling with 25 counts for 2 or 3 years now, and just hesitating about going up the stitch counts, because I just thought, well, it took me a while to get my eyes getting used to 25, and now I'm comfortable. Do I really want to, you know, push it a bit further? But now I feel like, yeah, maybe it's time to see how it goes. And I'm fully prepared if I don't enjoy it. But I'm doing half stitches. I'm doing 10 stitches. I'm hoping maybe that would be a little bit easier. And also I'm getting plain fabric. I'm not getting the pre-gridded, which might make it a little bit more challenging. Because I remember when I moved from 14 to 25, I nearly gave up because I didn't know what I was looking at. And so I finally had the courage to try again. I got the pre-gridded fabric, and the difference it makes. Because first of all, I feel safe, you know. I feel like even if I make some mistakes with one block, I have all the blocks, you know, all the blocks already defined, so I'm not going to just keep, you know, making more mistakes as I move forward. So that made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of difference. And now this time going up to 28, I'm hoping it won't be too different from 25. You guys can tell me, but I'm going for plain fabric, so I have to grid it myself as I stitch. Which, you know, anything goes when it comes to gridding. Brittany says, Zawagard, is that how it's pronounced? Zawagard has 56 count linen. Okay, so it's not even weave anymore. Oh, and 56 count linen and 55 count even weave. Goodness. Yes, so it does exist. Hello, Dolly. That's my cat. My tuxedo cat, Dolly. Hello, babe. What can I do for you? Oh, she's a little bit wet. She probably came in from the outside. She always look pitiful when she comes in, wet, if it's raining outside, and look at me like, you know, oh, mummy, take care of me, dry me. And I normally just give her a wipe and she's good. A little bit of drama queen there. Let me tuck this one in. Hey, babe. She needs a little bit of attention right now. Looking like, hello, babe. Hey. Can you tuck this one in? River says, thank goodness I'm almost finished with that 25 count, never again. Really? So River, you won't work with 28 again. Is it quite different going from 25 to 28? Because you're making me a little bit nervous now. I'm just imagining that it probably won't be that different because just, you know, it's not like I'm going from 25 to 32. But 28 is just, you know, the stitch is just tiny bit smaller, isn't it? I'm hoping. I'll find out on Saturday. The next color, I'm going to move up to, I'm going to start to move toward this bottom corner here, hoping I'll get to stitch the roof there, the canopy area. Let's see. Six, 4, 7, 6, 4, 7. Grady says, I have the pattern that you make on Saturday. I also bought it once, but I already have so many stitches that I'm busy with, and I only have 2 hands. That's true. On Saturday, which one is that? So today is Saturday, right? Or last Saturday? Or was it yesterday? Which one is that? I would like to know. 647, 647 here. These kits, they do give you a lot of floss, and this is not all. I've loaded a lot of a large amount, but there's still plenty in the kit, so I'm not gonna run out of them anytime soon. I can probably stitch this piece twice, probably still have leftovers. River says, I use an owl to make my grid. What is that? You're not referring to a bird. Stitching Masterpieces has something about that one in one of her videos. I love that lady, and that's why I got idea. What do you mean by using owl? I don't have an owl as a bird, as a pet. I have a cat. Can I use a cat to grip my fabric? Maybe there is a feline method to grit your fabric. Just use the magic paws, you know, little. My dolly is a tuxedo cat, so she's got white paws. Maybe I can get her to draw lines on my fabric, just to make her useful, you know, not just being cute, but she's actually functional, helping me with stitching. One more here. And I'm thinking whether to take this thread over to the other end, which is a little bit further than my liking, but let's have a look. There are only 2 stitches. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to end this thread here. Don't want to take my thread too far. And it's very easy to end the thread, so I don't mind. 14 count is very forgiving when it comes to starting and ending thread methods. You have a lot to choose from, you know, with full cross. Easy peasy. 6, 4, 7. Pop it back. Brittany says 28 is a little smaller than 25, but it's not too big of a difference in my opinion. But everyone's different. Yes, everyone's different. Considering you're thinking about doing 56. You know, you prove your point. Everyone is so different. I'm nervous just going into 28, and there is Brittany thinking that, well, you know, 40 is just not small enough. I think I need to give 56 a go. 498. 498. I've got one threaded. Beautiful red. And River says, I always stitch on 20 counts. So to me, it was a big difference. Right. If you go from 20 to 28, yes, you can definitely feel the difference. I bet. Just order some 22 count to stitch on my gnome. My seascape is on 20. Yeah, I remember when I started to go from 14 upwards, instead of diving into 25, which I nearly gave up on 25, just jumping in straight, I decided to go ease my way up. I decided to try out 20, because I think 20, 16, 18, they're still pretty large. I thought 20 might be a good one to move up, and I was fine with 20 because 28 is, you know, you know where you're supposed to be stitching. You can still see the kind of white area where the cross is supposed to go on. And then I decided to go up to 22, and the stitches get smaller but still quite manageable. And that's when I started to have some confidence on going up to 25. And I was right, because once I was comfortable stitching on 22, 25 wasn't that bad. But you know, it took a little bit to get used to, for your eyes to interpret what you're looking like, what you're looking at, and where the stitch is supposed to go. That was my problem. Because on Ada, it's quite obvious where you're supposed to stitch. But 25, you start to just see threads running horizontally and vertically. That's it. And it looks super, super dicey. And but I think 22 is a good one to practice before you go up to 25. So that's what I did. So here, I'm going to end my thread here. I think, oh, hang on. There are a couple of stitches over there. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to be a little bit more disciplined. And try not to take my thread too far away. It's a mini cross-country, you know, not extreme cross-country. I have my limit. I have my comfort zone. 498. 498. Oh, what's the AWL? No, oh, That's me not being able to read. Let me have a look. I don't know what that is. AWL. Oh, AWL. Why don't we have a little bit of a googly session here so everybody knows what we're talking about? That's interesting. Let me bring up our browser here. Yeah, we're thinking AWL. I didn't know what it was, but I recognize the tool. So let's have a look together. Let me see. There. So, so how does that help you with, let me just move to images. How does it help you with 28 counts? River. Yes, using a bird to draw lines for you. How does it help then? Do you prick holes to grid? Oh, I see. So if I switch back just a little bit, are you saying, let's say if this was the, you know, the tool, do you just like stab where the corners are? Is that correct? To create a big hole? Can you not do that just with a fat needle? Let's say, see if I can grab a bigger needle here. It's the same thing, isn't it? Are you saying just making holes? So this is a lot fatter. Are you saying this? Like, what else do you do with it? Because I might have tried that. I haven't watched that video from Stitching Masterpieces, but I have tried using sort of bigger needles to just create, just to mark the corners so I don't have to draw. Is that what's happening here? Or are we using birds? I think birds is a good idea too. You just need to get a bird first. Can you just use any kind of birds? Or can you use other type of animals? Like bunny claws, bunny paws, something like that. Is that what we're trying to do here? So you can just use a needle, can't you? Let me know. The mystery of stitching being solved live here on Yogi Stream. Yay. So River says no on ungridded 20 or 22. Yes, so that's what I meant. So basically, if you imagine the fabric is ungridded, right? So you just use a fat needle of any kind. I've got like really big needles, and you just mark the corners, correct? Oh, but is that enough as a definition though? I suppose if on 28 or 32, the area will be quite small. We're literally looking at probably somewhere like this. Then perhaps the marking will be sufficient. But you don't see the vertical or horizontal lines though. I need to try that one more time. I think I've maybe tried that on 25 counts, but gradually you lose, the holes start to get smaller and you have to keep doing it. So I just got fed up with it. I just use pencils instead. Heather says you could use a snag nap to make a hole. Oh, you mean the thing you can twist down the threads. Does it not hurt the fabric though? I have seen a few stitchers saying that that's a good thing. I do have one lying around, but I don't want to use it because it just feels, because the tool is actually to help If you have any thread kind of sticking out of the fabric, you use that, you twist it down to bring the thread down. But I'm always thinking that you might damage the fabric somehow. Does it not? Let me know. River says, referring to the fact that you can just use a fat needle, she says you can. I just like to be fancy. Fair enough. Fancy is good, River. You have my permission to be as fancy as you like. You can use a tool that has neon light. You know, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. It's your right to be fancy. Yes, I see. So I understand the principle. I'm just thinking that, do you need to redo it over and over again? Because as you move the fabric, sometimes the holes kind of close up. So if it's not marked permanently, not permanently, but you know, actual with some sort of ink or marking, do you not lose the definition and you end up having to reapply over and over again? My question. 310. 310. That's a nice dark color. I like stitching with dark colors. It feels like you're giving your piece a lot of definition. So here. Tuxedo cat, yes. Yeah, if you have a cat, you know, you might as well make use of it. Rather than just, you know, rather than just living a life of luxury and comfort. Get them to work, you know. If they're gonna help me with stitching, I'm gonna take advantage of that. Brittany says, same here. I love all the fancy stitching tools. Absolutely. Why not? Stitch with style. That's what I say. Stitch with style. River says it doesn't damage the fabric. That's good. But do you need to reapply from time to time? Because particularly if you know, stretch the fabric as tight as I do, I like it drum tight. The holes I can imagine, unless I use even bigger needles, like fatter needles. Otherwise, they get closed up, don't they? Eventually. River says, okay. River says, I'm just doing the immediate area I'm stitching. Sometimes I'll draw lines and connect them. Right. So you basically grid as you go. That makes sense. I tend to grid as I go anyway, but I tend to use a pen of some sort. One more here. Oh, nice. And I think I'm going to take it over here. It's one loose stitch here. Oh, I might take it over to the right there. There's a lot going on there. I'll keep stitching with this color until I run out of it. I think there's quite a few over to the right there. Why not? All the way here. Okay. So sometimes you do reapply. Fair enough. As if it's providing enough definition and it doesn't leave any marks, doesn't damage the fabrics, then yeah, it's probably a good. I mean, I think for on Ada like this, it seems to persist a little bit more because it's more starched. The fabric is a little bit more. It's got more body on it, but with a lot of even weave, the fabric's so soft. Sometimes you know, the fabric just feels a little bit too delicate for that. But I bet if it's from Stitching Masterpieces, it's got to work because she's one smart lady. One, two, got one down. Griety's going to bed now. Yes, it's midnight over here in Europe, and where Griety is, I think she's in Netherlands. So very well done. It's nearly 1 o'clock over there. Go to bed, have a sweet dream. Night night to Griety. I still don't know if I pronounce your name correctly, but it's what I'm sticking to. You haven't corrected me, so I would like to think it's probably not too far off. Lovely. Oh, Brittany's got a laying tool. I know people like you. I stitch with one strand and don't even need it. Yeah, that's true. That is hilarious, Brittany. Yeah, I have seen people using that religiously on two strands. If you don't know what it is, it's like a little tiny little pole, long stick there. You can use other things to replace it, but it separates two strands away from each other. So when you lay the stitch down like this, they don't get twisted. You know, some are a little bit, you know, a bit more particular with the way the stitch laid down. I think it's a little bit more necessary. Sometimes I felt that when you stitch 14 counts, large stitches with paler colors, you can sometimes see the strands being twisted together. That does happen. But with darker colors, I think it's quite forgiving. You know, most of the times you can't see. I am going to end my thread here. It's getting a little bit short, but yeah, you stitch it with one strand. Oh my gosh. So you're just using it for pleasure. I like that. Why not? Nikki, hello. Nikki's in the chat. Say hello to Nikki. Hello, hello. Nikki, are you excited for next Saturday? I am. So Saturday we're having a Amy Stewart Soul Day every Saturday from now. And there are about 4 of us, I think, that I know of. We're starting the new piece, the sweet shop, together. We're gonna make the first stitch live here on the stream. But the rest of you want to join in can just pick a Amy Stewart piece and just join in. I mean, every day is Amy Stewart Day anyway, but it's nice to have a dedicated day to appreciate the lady's work and just chat about her work, enjoy her design, 3A63. And she's got a huge catalogue of patterns to choose from, various in style. 3A63. So it's unlikely you wouldn't be able to find something you like if you haven't got her patterns already. And I know some cheaters already. They're going to blend in, you know, in a crowd, stitching someone else's work. And you're allowed to do that. You know, you're allowed to do that. I won't judge, okay? Just stitch along. That's And if you haven't had Amy Stewart's project patterns, go have a look. I would be very surprised you're going to walk away and not having a few patterns in your basket on heaven and earth. I challenge you. And Nikki says, I'm excited for next Saturday, going to work on floss cards. Oh, right. I'm going to just use my master set actually and add as I go. That's my usual strategy. And because I've got my master set, I probably have majority of the colors there already, and I'll top them up as I go. So I'm just waiting for my fabric. I hope it arrives on time. I think it's arriving on Wednesday, fingers crossed. Wednesday, Thursday-ish from Etsy. 28 counts. John says, I love all her patterns. I hope I can make it here that day. Yeah, definitely join in. Definitely join in. I'll try to give you guys notice on when to start. I have a few classes I teach on Saturday, but I'll make sure that we're here in time to start together. Couple of stitches here. So until next Saturday, you have plenty of time to get your material ready if you want to join us. So the piece we're starting together is a piece called Sweet Shop. Let me just bring up this beautiful, I'm just trying to find excuses to bring up the markup. That's it. I just want to look at it. Oh, my heart's racing. So we're going to start this piece together. Another new start for me. And for Nikki, I think is Tracy. River, you're not doing it, right? It's not River. Is it River that you're doing it with us? Or is it not Roxy? It's River, right? So there that I know of, 4 of us, we're doing the new start together. And you're welcome to join us. Brittany says, I didn't realize it was next Saturday. I wasn't in the stream when this was planned. Yes, but then again, you know, every day is Amy Stewart Day. Oh, it's Sarah. Is Sarah? Sarah, are you joining us for the new start? I'm getting all confused. I know there are at least 4 of us doing it together, but my memory is like a sieve that maybe I get mixed up. I think Sarah is doing it with us, no? Or is it Tracy? It's Tracy. Um, 1, 2, 3 from here. 1, 2, 3. It's a few over here. Brittany says we're going to peak season at Michael's too. Oh yeah, that's where you work, isn't it? So hopefully I don't have to work. Oh wow. Christmas trees already. No way. Christmas trees already arriving. So Brittany's working in Michael's. I learned from the chat. It's a craft shop. And it's quite well known in the States. How lucky. Just surrounded by goodies. Christmas trees already arrived. It's official, everyone. It's never too early to start Christmas. Yeah, I think July is when the summer Christmas happening in some shops in London. And some people might just start to, stock up their Christmas goodies so they don't have to compete with the crowd in the Christmas time. I get it. Oh, Rose. Yes, Rose. It is you, not River. It's Rose. Yeah, River has decided not to do 28 counts ever. You don't have to do it at 28 counts. Yes, there's Rose joining us as well, and Sarah as well. So Rose, Sarah, Nikki, and me. At least 4 of us are starting next Saturday together, live here. And Susan is joining the chat. She says, hello, everyone. Have you decided where you're going to start? Very good question. I think that topic came up a little bit yesterday, but I think it's still in, kind of in the air. And I think Nikki is considering center start. It would be a great piece to start from the center because there's so much going on. In fact, well, that piece is it's got everything going on everywhere. Wherever you start, I think it's good. It's like some pieces, they have acres of sky or ocean or forest in the background. Not this piece. This piece is happening everywhere. Everywhere you go. Two more down here. Let me see if I can move it down discreetly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I love this piece so much. I just can't wait to stitch that stripy area there. And I'm going to, oh, it's a bit controversial. I'm going to move it over from here to over there. For me, it's like a long way, but it's relatively unstitched. So I am going to venture over there. Normally, I like to keep it the distance not too far away, not over 10 stitches. But I think in this occasion, it's okay. Brittany says, the stores won't see them for a while, yet we have to start getting ready. Oh, referring to the Christmas tree. Oh, they ship to Canada as well. There's a nice plug there. Well done, well done. We ship worldwide to Canada as well. So let me see if I can hide the thread underneath. There. And I'm going to come back to this area here. Oh, it's Heather. Heather, are you doing the new start with us? John says, I'm starting love letters. Oh, beautiful piece. And the potting shed I need to work on. The Grand Library. Okay, I need a break from confetti. Yeah, because normally my strategy is always I try to stitch in a way that I can escape from confetti for a little bit to a slightly different area if I can. So I tend to be, try not to be too strict in terms of the order of progression. So I can take a breather if I need to. Because the last thing I want to feel is resentful when I'm stitching confetti. I know it's necessary and it creates beautiful results. But sometimes, you just need a little bit of air in between. 3, 1, 5. 3, 1, 5. 3, 1, 5 here. That's the start. Rose says, I'm starting on the top right, and I'm going to try parking this time in a 20 block at a Times Square. 20 blocks, like a tower or horizontal. So 2 blocks. Hang on, no. This time 20 blocks. Okay, I got confused. I'm trying to park this time in a 20 block at a Times Square. So it's almost like a part of a page, right? And it's going to be a huge learning lesson to me. Interesting. 20 block. I'm just thinking, how many? That's wider than a normal page, isn't it? Because the page is about heaven and earth design tend to be about, it's about 8, 6, 8. So it's wider. 20 blocks, so 10 by 10 blocks rather than stitches. Interesting. It's good to experiment different way of stitching because, and you have nothing to lose because if you don't like it, you just modify it, the way you stitch it and just change it, evolve into a different message. You're never stuck. I change my methods all the time, as you can see. And Rose is going to do tent using CXC 1/1. Oh, really? 28 counts 1/1. I'm going to do tent, but 2/1. I just want a bit more coverage because such a vibrant and bright piece. I want a bit more volume. 1/1. But with CXC, you're probably okay. I think you'll be just fine. The CXC is very full. And I think I'm going to go with DMC. I want the piece to have a slight gloss to it. And DMC has got that kind of glossiness to the texture. But I'm slightly nervous about 28 counts. What if I'm just go, oh, just go blind live on Yogi Stream? That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Just like, I can't see, guys. That'd be hilarious. Right. And I'm moving into this color here. 758. 758. There. Carrie says, yes, there are two Michaels in my town. When are you coming to London, Brittany? We need a Michael here. At least one. We don't need two Michaels. Just one Michael would do. Michael's in my town in Canada. So when one is out of the DMC, I'm looking for, I can drive to the other one. Wow. Lucky you. Lucky you, Carrie. You know, having one Michael's is lucky, as Oscar Wilde would say. Having two, it's just extravagant. It's too much. We don't even have, we need at least one Michael here. We don't even have one. Let me see, 1, 2. Let me restitch this one. This one looks a little bit grubby for some reason. Let me just fix that. You know, you need to leave some Michaels for London. You can't take them all. Have all the Michaels. I think we just need more craft stores, like proper ones. We have a department store here called John Lewis, and also one called Liberty, which is a department store. And both of them traditionally have pretty, you know, nice craft area. They do yarns, fabric, you know, proper fabric. You know, they have a person there cutting fabric for you, that kind of shop. And they have a lot of accessories. But we don't really have, they're part of a department store. And we're just lacking sort of a dedicated shops here. They're kind of a little bit random. Sometimes you find one, independent ones, and sometimes you don't. Let me see where I am right now. I think, okay. Oh, Rose. So you mean two 10 by 10 blocks. Okay, so like two tower, like a tower. But I don't know whether you're doing vertically or horizontally. Oh, I thought you're going sort of a little bit of experiment there. Very nice. I haven't decided. I think I might go block by block color completion to start with. See if that flows. And that's provided if I can actually see the stitches, which is highly questionable right now. But if I can actually see my stitches, I might keep that going. I quite like when it comes to 10 stitches, I quite like the structure of a block. because I find even, at least for now, cross country in 10 stitches seems to be a little bit challenging for my eyes. I just cannot accurately tell where the stitches are just yet. That may change, but I don't know. So far, at this point, I think I'll go block by block. That's my comfort zone. Rows. So the tower thing I was doing, it was like royal rolls, ish. So yes, that's a good method. I'd like to do a little bit more of that as well with some of my projects. And I like the fact that you can tweak rules, so that helps. Brittany says, I would love to come to London. I have to tell the CEOs to tell the king. Yeah, can you tell them to open a couple of shops, near, like, somewhere in London, anywhere in London, central London, please, so I can get to easily. And yeah, that would be a very good start. And maybe they can ship you over here to become the lead of the London Pioneer flagship, Michael, in London. You never know. A brand new world, new career, new chapter for Brittany. We definitely can do with more kind of cross-stitching based craft store. We have yarn stores, like knitting shops from time, you come across them from time to time, independent shops, but not that many sort of cross-stitching specific. In fact, I can't think of one. There's some sewing shops that's different, or maybe kind of combo, types, a bit of everything. But imagine if there's a cross-stitching, not even cross-stitching, just embroidery, shops. So River says she's working on a piece called Rustic Farmstead, 28 count 1/110. Ha! So the coverage is actually good just with one strand. CXC, the coverage is awesome. Interesting. Very interesting. It must be so light to stitch then. 1/1, so the 1/110. The pieces can be so delicate. Oh, Brittany says I'll move there in a heartbeat. I've always been fascinated with London. Yeah, London is lovely. I think, you're kind of somewhere that feels like home is the place you probably love most, and that's different for everyone. I'm sure that people probably hate London as well and don't ever want to live here ever again. But it's about picking the location, the kind of vibes with you. And that can vary so much from person to person. Let me see if I can squeeze in another couple of stitches before I have to end it. Let's see, extreme stitching moment is coming. It's getting very short now. Can I do one more stitch? Yeah, tiny bit left. Maybe just fine. Ooh, I lost one strand. That's not good. Let's see. We can do it. We can do it. There. Nice and slow. One more. We can do it. There. Made it. Strand is underneath here. Beautiful. And who's next? Nikki says, how do we smuggle DMC to you? Shush, Nikki, you shouldn't mention it live on the live stream. It's going to be sort of, you know, it's going to become evidence. We shan't talk about it on live stream, about smuggling DMC from US to London, because it's so expensive in London. Can you imagine? Yeah, you can just hide them in your stockings or something. If you wear something with big pockets or something, and you can just pretend that they are, I don't know. You need to come up with a good plan there. So you can hide them as you come in through an immigration, and when they ask you what it is, I don't know. Just hide them under, I don't know. Have to come up with really creative solution. 3722. I know. But it's good that at least I have CXC to play with, so I don't feel like I have to, you know, get so much DMC to cover all projects. And to be honest, some projects I much prefer using CXC because of the earthy tone and the fluffiness, you know. So it's nice to have choices. Nice to have choices. Let me have a sip on my tea. Yeah, just say it's young. Pretty. False bottom purse. Sounds almost like you've done it before. Oh, I like that. Yes, a big purse, you know, you have to make sure the purse is really big. And and the top part is just enough to put a couple of lipsticks, and the bottom part is all floss. Exactly. We have a plan forming live here on Yogi Stream. I know. The price is just ridiculous. And the thing is, they make it so strict that even if I wanted to order from American websites from America, like Stitch 123, for instance, it's probably one of the sort of online shops that ship worldwide. Basically, DMC section would be blocked for me. By yeah, I can't. I think I'm not allowed to even put DMC floss in a basket because they know I'm browsing from the UK and I'm not supposed to buy a DMC from them. It's like some sort of, I don't know, precious gem or something that's regionally copyrighted. I don't know. It's like I can't touch it because it's not allowed. I can't look at it. I can't buy it. That's pretty hardcore. False bottom. I love it. So let me see there. There. Nikki says, have you tried Royal Embroidery Thread? No, I haven't. Is it a brand? No, I haven't. Is it any good? Royal Embroidery Thread. No, I haven't. And if it's good, I might look it up. One, two. Betty says, I can't send a package with DMC in it to you. I'm in the US. I don't know. I think when you send a package overseas, you probably need to declare what it is. I don't know if they would confiscate the DMC if they find out you're sending it to the UK. Can you imagine? You get arrested. Betty is going to get arrested for attempting to send a package of DMC to someone in London. And her name is Yogi. So can you imagine? You can be on the headline on CNN, Betty being arrested at a post office, attempting to smuggle some cheap DMC to some floss tuber in London. And we'll be talking to her. She's talking to her attorney right now. See if she will plead guilty. Or there's going to be an open trial. A trial of DMC smuggler. DMC smuggler. Sounds like something else. Brittany says, I will gladly shop floss to you with my discount and ship it over. Oh, stop it, Brittany. Stop tempting me. We're breaking the law here. We're breaking the law live on Yogi Stream. Brittany says, does Alison Royal make threads now. Who's Alison Royal? Oh, the lady that came up with Royal Roll. Might as well, because the method is being used everywhere. I think people will buy her floss no matter what it is. Might as well. Merchandise. Royal Roll merchandise. Get the goodies. Let's see, where am I right now? 1, 2. Here. I don't want to get you guys arrested, you know. Oh, Susan says the Patchwork Rabbit is a UK shop which sells, I've heard of the name actually. Patchwork Rabbit is a UK shop which sells DMC for what? For 99p. How? Patchwork. Let's prove it. Let's have a look together. Let's bring up the browser. I think I have heard of the name actually. Patchwork Rabbit. $99p. Why would they be so much cheaper? Are they smuggling from via Betty as well and Brittany? DMC floss. Let's have a look. Where is our DMC floss? Threads. Oh no, let me search DMC. Why would they be cheaper? That's not floss. DMC. No, it's 125. It's about the same as average. So it depends on the colors. Some colors are around, I've seen as low as £1. I've never seen anything below that. But most colors will be about 125 up to 195, something like that. Some colors may be harder to get. So yeah, it's 121, 25. That sounds about average. Maybe slightly on the cheaper side, but on Etsy, most colors probably around 125 to 150. So there. It's nice to think it's 99p, but trying to go back to the chat here. Oh, it's not normal floss. Have I looked at the wrong place? Let's have a look one more time. Are these not normal? Oh, satin. Okay. I don't know why it's taken me here. I just want normal DMC floss. Well spotted. My mistake. Let's have a look. Why can't I just find DMC? Why is it taking me to satin? So that's probably a specialty. What DMC is a big category? Why doesn't it show? Oh, DMC here. Okay. So, are the pearl? What are the regular ones? Have they got a name? Because all these have kind of special names. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Stranded cotton. Oh, it is 99p. Oh, so there is discounting right now. I see. So normally it's 120, 150. Is it limited time? Oh goodness, that's nice. Oh, great tip, Susan. Yes. Why would it be discounted? Is that Is that like a sale they're doing? Stranded cotton, right? That's normal. They were 99p. My goodness. Time to top up. Time to top up. Not as cheap as the States, still double the price pretty much, but it's much cheaper than 150. Nice tip. So anyone in the UK, go now. Patch Rabbit. Grab the floss now. Very nice tip. Thank you very much. I'll definitely look into that. I've got a few colors I need to top up for sure. So might as well get those rather than getting you guys arrested, you know. Brittany say I stand trial happily. Well, I've always wanted to see Lau Bailey, my goodness. Oh, goodness. But we don't have open trial. Well, it's open to the public, but not on TV, unfortunately. So if there's any shenanigan going on there, you know, wink, wink, then the public won't know. Unfortunately, not like open trials in America. Everybody can watch. There's no such thing here. Everything is behind. Not closed door. You can still observe. You can walk in, but very small number of people. So that's good to know. But why were they, how come they're able to sell them cheaper, I wonder? That's really nice. Threads for you, sell DMC for 80p. What? Sandy, welcome. Which site is that? Let's have a look. The proof is the pudding. We need to see it to believe it. Let's have a look. Let's open a new tab here. What is it called? Threads for you. Threads for you. Threads for you. ATP. Hello, babe. It's Dolly again, coming wet again. I dried her, and then she went out again, get wet, and come in and complain again. This is how she rolls. Let's see. Where are the threads? Online threads. DMC. Fast order. Let's have a look. Fast order, like in 15 minutes. Can you deliver the threads? Oh, so Amy. Okay, so that's a normal scan there. How does that work then? When you purchase large volume. So can you not pick colors? How does that work? Is it like a bulk buy situation here? Do you have to buy a lot? How come there's no individual prices here? That view shop. Okay, maybe I looked in the wrong place. I'm very confused. Okay. Let's have a look. DMC. Oh my, what? Oh, 4 meters. Okay, so that's half the length. 8 meters. DMC. Stranded 8 meters. Here we go. Oh, 85. You guys are amazing. I didn't know. Is this UK? Yeah, it is, isn't it? And they've got all the colors. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 85 is even better than 90p. What? Nikki says Royal Broderie is 65p? I am on the floor right now. Let's have a look. Is that name of the website? Royal. Guys in the UK, take notes. Broderies. Royal Broderies. How come I just didn't know? Because most places I browse, they're all, can I just click on any of these? Let's just click and see what happens. No, why am I going here? I'm not looking at their Instagram. That's not what I'm here for. Shop now, okay. It's a big button there. Threads. Any particular kind? Why don't I just type DMC? No products. There's no DMC. Or are they different brands? Okay, so Royal, okay, I got confused. I thought DMC floss here. So it's a brand. That's 45 pence per scan. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. So it's, and are they, I suppose that the color system is probably the same as DMC? I presume, yeah, 310. 65, okay, so that's a choice. So it's not DMC, but you have the option. Yes, Susan said, at least you won't be taken to jail. No, I like to stitch, okay? I don't know if you're allowed to stitch in prison. So ideally, I like to stay away from being locked up. So yes, no jail is good. That's a good direction to go. River says, why can't you not have DMC? That's absurd. River says, everybody, let's send Yogi some DMC. They can't arrest us all. Oh, they can. It'll be so hilarious to see all you guys getting chained up, you know, cuffed, and waiting for trial in jail. You have to eat prison food. That's not delicious. So I don't believe, you know, food in prison is that fantastic. So so over here, let me find my, oh, I think this one is not correct. Let's undo that. Sandy says, no, whatever quality, they are fast on delivery. That's such a good tip. I'm definitely going to look into both sides. That's really good to know. Oh, I just never really explored. See what I'm learning here. Nikki says you have all the time in the world to stitch in prison. Maybe. Am I allowed to have needles in there? I don't think needles and scissors will be allowed, will they? You know, and I think if you smuggle DMC, you're probably in the maximum security, you know, prison, because it's a dangerous behavior, smuggling DMC. So you're probably get locked up, no needles, no scissors, and terrible food. Probably a lot of carbs as well. You know, if you're on low carb, you're in trouble. I've seen some videos of people actually, I don't know how to manage prisoners actually filming their food, like food diary on YouTube. They're probably taken down after a while. But wow, the food didn't look that good at all. It's like, you know, heavens. The DMC chain cake. No soul, no kitties. Exactly, Susan. That's just not a way to live. You need at least one cat and a few whips going on. That's, you know, survival, basic requirement, human right, kitties and whips, okay? So let's stay away from prison if we can. Grace, hello, Yogi. It says Yogi. Grace says Yogi, just coming to say hi and stitch a while as I listen to the chat. Definitely joining, Grace. I hope you're well tonight or wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Cover all bases. There you go. Betty says, I wondered about the prison. Are they allowed these needles? Maybe craft time. I wouldn't care for the cheese. Bread. I've seen those bread. Oh, if they're qualified to be called as a bakery product, it's highly questionable. Abs bread. I've heard the five. Oh, someone. Yeah, I've seen those videos. It's not just the bread. The bread, all the bread rolls look underbaked. They look very pale, and they have a lot of like maybe instant tomato potato mash or something like that. They're definitely not coming from potatoes, not directly, and they're all very runny and just kind of blob of white mash there. Yeah, it's a good way to deter people from committing crime if you don't want to eat that kind of food. Very effective. If you're a little bit of a foodie, you know, you probably go, it's just not worth it. Nikki says, "Our fast." Yes, it will probably lock you up for the DMC related crime for at least 25 years. I don't think you can fast for 25 years. 436. 436. But I think 85p, 90p is definitely better than £1.50. So that's a start. Definitely going to do a little bit of a top up there. Betty says, the prisoners here, do you mean cook their meals? Cook their meals? Really? They're allowed to have fire? Oh, hang on. I've seen a video on YouTube. It must be true. I don't know whether it's a hoax or real. Yeah, I saw someone cooking with a kind of makeshift cooker they built. That looks very dangerous. I don't know whether that's authentic or not. But yeah, but how can you possibly have a cooker in your cell? How does that work? It's like, is it a prison or something else? But they can buy snacks, can't they, with their own money? So I think that's why a lot of prisoners, when they go to jail or prison, they gain a lot of weight because they don't have proper food. And if they want to bypass or at least not eat all the prison food, they have to buy snacks. It's probably only junk food available, and probably not a lot of greens and healthy stuff. And a lot of them just don't look that well afterwards. And not a lot of sunlight, I presume. But then again, we don't get a lot of sunlight over here in London. A little bit like prison. Yes, 56 years. Yes, Susan, you're quite right. Locked up for DMC related crimes. It's very serious. It's probably federal, if there's such a thing as over here. I've been watching too much American TV. Brittany says, I've heard the bread we have here in the US is categorized as cake. What? Your bread is categorized as cake over here because of the sugar content. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I can kind of believe that. I can kind of believe that, Brittany. I don't think I would be super shocked because the regular bread and stuff, in order to make it make them really tasty and palatable, they probably add a lot of sugar unnecessarily. So, because the real bread, if you think about European bread, like the kind of the sort of proper recipes from Europe and back in Ghana's 100 years, the only ingredients should be flour, water, and a little bit of salt. I'm not even sure they add water, maybe a little bit of oil. That's it. There's no dairy, there's no sugar required for real bread. But the bread comes out a lot harder, which is not a bad thing because real bread has crusty surface, and if you're on low carb diet, just cover the ears right now, okay? So you have that crusty outer edge, and then the soft center. If you make your bread properly, that's all the ingredients you need. You don't need butter, you don't need eggs, you don't need sugar. That's it. But I think modern bread, because people hate to chew, so they make everything soft and airy, and they have put a lot of preservative, and God knows what else. Oh, and yeast, obviously. You need yeast to proof the bread. But other than that, you don't need anything else. The DMC kank, yes. River. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Do you admit your crime, River? But an awful sin of smuggling DMC floors to someone in this country? How dare you? That's despicable. I'm sending you 10 years of hard labor and I don't know, mandatory high carb diet for another 10 years. That's right. And eat sugary bread that tastes like cakes. That's your punishment. Don't do that again. That's it, River. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Betty says, this prison has farm with animals. Oh, they must be quite mild, sort of minor crimes. They provide most of their food. I think if you're, I don't know if you're a murderer. I don't know, that may be a different category. But if you go in for a bit of, DMC smuggling, that kind of thing, maybe they let you, they want to use the human labor as well. A lot of prison manufactured products on there for more minor crimes. maybe there are different categories, isn't it? And if you behave well, maybe you're able to move to an area that has a bit more things to do, I think. Nikki says, I asked ChatGPT, they said we can classify as gift and no customs or VAT will be charged as long as it's under £39. Oh, really? So you can ship anything that's under £39. Well, £39 is in currency, not not a weight. Can you imagine? £39 of DMC. I can probably open a Michael's over here. Just specialize in DMC. Yes, I think 30. But how do you prove the value? I mean, it's probably up to their discretion to see whether they want to believe you or not. Because I think shipping, when it comes to shipping, the custom is a little bit of a, luck, isn't it? Sometimes you get taxed a lot, and sometimes you don't at all. And you can mark it as embroidery flowers, really. Are we not going to trigger sort of a DMC alarm in the police department? They go, oh, we know those. They're at it again. And Betty says, no, they have people that involved with murders. Ah. So I think if they're getting locked up for the rest of their lives, you probably want to use their, the time and the human power to do something useful. I can see that. But I can't imagine that if someone's extremely violent, for instance, would get involved in kind of cooking in the kitchen or something, have access to knife and stuff like that. So it's probably case by case situation. But yeah, imagine all the manpower they have with these people being locked up. You don't want them to just sit there, all day long. I don't know what entertainment they have. But if they can get them to do something useful, yeah, they probably would. And probably distract them from wanting to do bad things as well. So I've got quite a few stitches here not being mucked up, so I need to manually. Oh no, that's a wrong one. Let me go. This is the slightly tricky part of paper patterns, because particularly those ones getting covered by those back stitches lines, they don't get picked up. So I have to manually highlight them as I go. Yes, I think that's correct, Betty. If they can, well, even if they have committed murder of some kind, if they go in, they look remorseful and they behave well, I bet, they probably have some opportunity to redeem themselves and do something a bit more interesting than sitting in their cells. And that's good, because people like to be, like to live with purpose. Doesn't matter who they are. So giving them a purpose probably would, it would be quite good for them. So they feel useful and maybe they become better people, for sure. Oh, there are quite a few not getting picked up. Here. I'm gonna move over here a little bit, maybe. 3722, 3722. She said, yes, the stream is evidence. So it will be used as evidence in the court of law, I'm afraid. You know, watching us plotting, plotting a smuggling scheme, false bottom purse, all those great ideas. Betty says they make carpet there as well. I'm pretty sure there are products out there. They're marked as manufactured by certain prison, you know, almost like a brand or factory type thing. I bet they do. They probably do a bit of, I don't know, crafts or to sell. Let me see, where am I? Here, one stitch there, one there, and next. Yeah, so while they're being locked up, they probably get to learn some skill as well, because some of them will be out at some point, right? So, you know, maybe they can learn a little bit of catering or carpentry or whatever it is they can use when they come out. So it's got sort of a double function there. Oh, really, Nikki? ChatGPT says they can have scissors. Oh, they can or cannot. They can't have scissors, but thread snips are okay. But you can hurt people with, you know, these little cutters. Yeah, you can definitely. Not saying you should, but the potential is there. Over here. I think it's probably not much fun being locked up. Oh, hang on. 1, 2. Betty. There's one above here. Oh, I can see the pattern emerging. It's starting to go diagonally to create the outline for the stripy part of the canopy. 1, 2, one more here. And there's one more here. Tracy's here. Hello, Tracy. And maybe I will take it over here to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Nikki says it was Tracy who is the Swiss shop. Oh, supersize. Yes, the supersize max color. Oh, can you imagine? Yes, Tracy, you're the one. Are you excited? Yes, River, it's a special department specialized in tackling the smuggling of DMC that's so prevalent. And we cannot tolerate that kind of behavior in this civilized society. It has to be stopped. You know, they probably go, just pay that extra £1.20 or 80p compared to the US dollars. And just be a law-abiding citizen, you know. Just pay your price for the DMC, like regular people in Europe. It's got snagged. Hello. Here. Yes, Tracy. And Tracy, have you got a fabric? You probably need a super big fabric. And what count are you doing? Are you doing 25 counts, if I remember correctly? But the fabric would be biggish. I thought about getting super size, but I thought, oh, you know, I come to my senses. Because with this project, if they had super so the max color for regular, I would definitely go for max color because of the just how much going on with the design. But I'm happy with regular, you know. I'm sure it will still come out really beautiful. £25 counts. Yes, big fabric. That's very exciting. But you know what? Even though it's max colors, but comparing to max color regular, it might be a little bit less confetti than regular color, if you know what I mean, because you've got more stitches, but same number of colors that you would have for regular max colors. So, you know, kind of makes sense. They might be a little bit less. There will be more stitches involved, but might not be too bad, hopefully. I can't guarantee. Gray says there's an organization called Marley's Mutts. That poor dogs on dog pounds. Oh dear. In our area and houses, the dogs in our local prison here. Oh, rehab for both dogs and prisoner. Oh wow. I bet they're really healing. Because, you know, dogs and cats, they just unconditional. They don't judge you. And they just love you for nothing. I mean, cats, yeah, probably a little bit more conditional. But dogs, they just love everybody. I suppose it's quite healing. Have you guys seen those photos of a dog or cat yoga. I've never been to one before. That sounds, I've never seen any studio offering it. But you basically go and do your regular yoga, and then you have cats and dogs just wandering around. And some of them will lie on top of you if they like you. It's very healing, very therapeutic. Let me move out and fill in this area a little bit more. Tracy, I'm sure confetti will be there no matter what. It's heaven and earth after all. It's part of the part of the journey. But it would be so pretty, my God, that piece. I think every inch would be just so fun to stitch. 436. Grace says I've seen goat yoga. You mean goat doing yoga, or people do yoga with goats? Oh my goodness. I suppose all animals that's friendly to people can probably be part of the yoga practice. Bunnies, owl. I don't know. What else? Raccoon? Raccoons are quite cute. I don't know how friendly they are though. Squirrel. I've got squirrel friends coming to visit me every day. I give them some nuts. They're so cute though. I love squirrels. Goat yoga. It's a thing, yes. Are they cuddly though, goats? Can you cuddle them? Or maybe baby goat? And let me have a look. And move down here a little bit more. Susan says, depends on the size of the dog. Could be tricky doing a yoga pose with a Great Dane on your back. I don't think you will. Yeah, can you imagine if you're doing a down dog and there's a goat on top of you? So it's like weight training. Fantastic. Yes, I can see that. And then you can do a warrior two, with arms open wide. And then you can hang a couple of cats on top or hold the cats or the dogs and try to balance. And you come to tree with a kitty in your hands. And the tree pose, one-legged. Yes. It would, it's complementary to the yoga practice, for sure. Grace says people do yoga with goats. The goats hop on their back during down dog. Oh, that's exactly what I was saying. But provided they're not like they're not like supersized goats. It will probably break the spine or damage the spine, or or break your back. But that sounds fantastic. So from here, let's see, 2 pink, 2 over there, done. Trying to keep track of where I am. Pink. That's done. The other one's done. Here. Brittany says, I think you can cuddle goats, but I'll never get close enough to them. Their eyes creepy, the goats. No, goats are quite cute, aren't they? But if you can do that with goats, why not sheep? They're kind of similar, aren't they? Or are they? Says the city girl. Can you not do it? Can you not do it with baby cows? Your farm animals. I'm sure baby cows. My work. With a down dog. Fainting goats. Oh, hilarious. Yeah, what's the deal with that, Sarah? Did they just faint? Yeah, that rings a bell. I think they do just fall over, and for no particular reason. I have no idea. It's a strange animal behavior. Fainting goats. And there are quite a lot of animals are being taken to hospitals, for people who maybe are suffering from a lot of illnesses. They have to stay in hospital for a long time, and they're taken there as kind of therapy animals. It's quite nice. But the thing is, they have to go home. The animals have to go home. And if it was me, I'll be really sad. I'll probably be more sad than not having them around. Because I would like them to stay with me. Let's see. So 436, 436. And I think I'm going to go for one more color here for I wrap up. So it's part 19 or 20 past 1 over here in the UK. I'm still wide awake, actually. Not feeling sleepy at all, but it might be sensible for me to do one more color here. 934, and I have a 10 o'clock class tomorrow morning, which is fine, quite civilized time. 934. I'll never be able to teach 7 o'clock. No way, no how. 934. Oh, Sarah says when they get startled, referring to fainting goats. But why would you faint? If you get startled, your instinct should be running away from whatever is trying to make you, trying to shock you. That's very interesting. So they're playing dead, really. Maybe that works. It's like if you come across a bear, right? You're supposed to play dead, but that's so counterintuitive because you just want to run and just thinking if I stay here, then, you know, your instinct is to take yourself out of danger. Your instinct is not to lie down and pretend to be dead. That's just... Oh, Betty says, when I was going through chemo and radiation, the video brought in the videos brought in a dog every Tuesday. Do you mean a hospital? Oh, wow, every Tuesday. Why not every day, Betty? And I hope you are nice and strong now, Betty. It's got to be a challenging process to go through, and I hope you come through nice and strong than ever. If they bring in animals, I just want to keep them with me. That's a problem. I just get attached to them very quickly, and I don't want them to go. Grace asks, how do you handle all the extra fabric while stitching? Do you just let it hang down or clip it all into place? I'm using Ada and it's so bulky. Yes, I have various ways of doing it, and it depends on how big the fabric is and the frame or the hoops I'm using. So this one is relatively big, but it's a large piece as well. So I do have some hanging at the bottom. Sometimes I will roll them up like what I'm doing here, and keep rolling to the side and keep wrapping and come back to a circle. Let me see if I can remove this. Come back to a circle and clip them up here if it's small enough. Like this one is bigger, so my usual trick is, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit more. I'll have the bottom bits hanging here, but I put the hanging bit into this is like a shoe bag. That if you buy shoes, a lot of times it comes into like a little bag with a drawstrings here. So I'll just tuck everything inside this bag, this little black bag there, and just keep it protected and just hanging at the bottom between my legs. That sounds really good. Yeah, I just sandwich the fabric between my legs. That's what I do. And so different strategies. The back thing is working quite well and also serves as protection as well. But if it's small enough, I just keep wrapping, rolling the fabric to the side and then clip somewhere when it stops. So that's how I do it. Because my Gecko Rouge project is huge. It's absolutely enormous. So I use a bigger bag to wrap everything in. And so just keep the fabric together and also protect it as well from dust and stuff. Betty says, I made it, just not as I was before, but it gives me more time to stitch and read. So it's when absolutely, just look on the positive side of it, and you know, recovering and healing is all about the mindset as well, isn't it? If your mind is positive and you're happy doing things you like to do, and you know, being in this chat, and everybody's sort of, you know, like-minded, and we talk about happy things. That's got to help every cell of your body to stay positive. You know, healing is from the cells upwards. It's not just whatever treatment you go through. Healing is from the inside, isn't it, Betty? And really well done. Yes, Grace, the bag is very quite handy. You can get like cotton bags, even probably even better. And these drawstring bags, they're everywhere, right? If you buy shoes, I just use shoe bags and just clip everything together. I use probably everybody's got these little clippers. Let me show you. These ones, the little ones, fabric clippers, they're really handy. And you just clip the top edge of the drawstring bags onto whatever fabric there. Just keep everything in place. I tend to just hack my way through. I don't, if it works, that's fine by me. I don't care what it looks like as long as it's not damaging the fabric. No one's looking at my bag, And so now when I'm stitching, they're literally between my legs. Really nice picture that's conjuring up there. Yes, between Yogi's legs. Right, I think I'm going to tuck this in because this is the last stitch here. Oh, pillowcase as well, yes. I've seen people using pillowcases, but pillowcases, you need something to clip it together, and pillowcases tend to be bigger. So it really depends on what the extra fabric, the amount of fabric you have. And the great thing about the drawstring is that, you can just tie up the top bit and keep it in place very easily. But yeah, I've seen people using pillowcases. Whatever works, really, isn't it? 934, 934. Oh yeah, my clippers, they do have a little smileys. Do they? Yes, these ones. Well spotted. Yeah. I bought these ones for my for the thread organizers. Oops. Doesn't, yes. There you go. They're very cute. I use them to clip around my thread organizers here, the protection bit, and then I just copy the Stitching Masterpiece lady. She's very clever, and I borrow and steal a lot of her ideas there. So there you go. I made my last stitches there for this session there. Let me zoom out a little bit to see my handiwork for this session. Let me zoom out a little bit more here. So today I focus on this area on the third page here, and slowly putting stitches down here is where the this area, let me pull up the markup here. If you look to the right, there's a building, brown building to the right there, and there's a little stripy canopy thing going on there. That's kind of where I am right now, and going this direction there and starting to create the outlines for that section. And I can't wait for the page next to it, because there's this little flower vendor here, and the roof part of it, they've got these beautiful, really cute, stylish posters of the ladies' pictures there. I don't know what it says, it's too blurry, but I just love the style there. And today, let's have a look at the app here to see how many stitches I have finished. And if you know me at all, you will not expect a really big number, okay? So no one's gonna fall off their chair right here. So, which is a good thing, so you know what's coming. So my daily target is 300. So I'm 75 stitches under, which will give you a hint where I am today. So today I have completed 225 stitches, which is not bad. We're actually under, yeah, just slightly over 3 hours. Sometimes we do longer and I get to 300, but today with this method, it's working really well. Thank you, Sarah. And in terms of completion, closer and closer to 10%, which is 2 digits, which is a big milestone. So I'm looking forward to that. And I really enjoy the stitching today. It's just so lovely to work on 14 counts from time to time. It's just a nice reset from all the small stitches that we work on, and they're getting smaller. I'm getting 28 count for a new start, which we're starting on Saturday. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you this. Oh my God, this beautiful markup here. That is our new start. So there's some about at least 4 of us are going to start together live next Saturday on this piece. Is Amy Stewart. And if you want to join us, you can. You still have enough time, a week, to get your fabric, your pattern, and your threads. Okay, so this is called Sweet Shop, and it's from Amy Stewart, Heaven and Earth Design. So go have a look. If you haven't got a piece, Amy Stewart pattern, that needs to change. We need to do something about that. And so Saturdays from now on will be Amy Day. You can bring any Amy Stewart projects. And secretly, if you are not working on Amy Stewart, you can still join in. Just don't tell anybody. And let's stitch along every Saturday with Amy Stewart project and appreciate her talent and these beautiful pieces she has brought us throughout the years. And so with that, before I leave, let me quickly have a look at the chat there. Sarah says, looks great, thank you. Grace says, it's beautiful, thank you very much, you're very kind. And Brittany says, great progress, I managed 107, amazing. And Brittany says, I love these colors. And Grace, oh my God, I don't know what it's referring to. If it's my stitching, then yeah, that's probably, a little bit exaggerated. And but I love the color scheme here as well. So, and also don't forget, I'll have the back stitches to apply on this beautiful stitch area already. So I'm going to add in more and more details. Everything will start to pop out even more. Rose says, can't wait to start next Saturday. Yes, I can't wait either. And any one of you want to join us, the brave ones, I need you. You know that poster, the Uncle Sam, we need you. That's it. And so hopefully I'll see you on the next session. And for another beautiful, relaxing, stitching and chatting as well. So from here, we are 1:30 a.m. in the morning in London. And, oh, Grace, yes, new start, yes. Yes, it's beautiful piece there. So just to, to whet your appetizer with our markup. So from here, everyone, thank you for your chat. I have a great time. I hope you had as well. And we'll come back for another session, for another round of chat with you. And from Peaceful London, and I'm going to sign out. Yogi signing out. And have a good night wherever you are. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. And I'll see you next time. Night night, everyone. Nighty night.